Okay, welcome back class 6 to the online bio classes. Now today we are going to continue with the same chapter number 2, the flower, part 2. Part 1 we had already studied about the different parts of a flower like calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are the 4 parts of the flower. Then we studied about the diagram of the flower which show all the different parts. Now today we will study about pollination. What is pollination? Pollens, pollens are the male reproductive cells or gametes which are produced in the anthers of the flower. And anther is a part of stamen. Stamen is collectively known as androecium, which is the male reproductive part of the flower. So what is pollination? The definition of pollination is transfer of pollen grains. Pollen grains means the male reproductive cells. Transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Okay, the definition of pollination is it is the transfer of pollen grains, means pollen grains are taken away from male part. Anther is the male part of the flower and stigma is the female part of the flower. So transfer from male part to the female part. Only this transfer is called pollination. Okay. Now next we have to study what are the different agents of pollination. What is the meaning of agents of pollination? Then we'll study about the types of pollination. Agents means in order to bring about pollination, different substances are required. Like we need air, water. So air is the agent of pollination. The substance which helps. Definition of agents we can write. Substances that brings or that helps in pollination, helps in transfer of pollens. Substances that help in transfer of pollens to bring pollination, like air, water. Example you can write. Air is pollinating agent. Water is also an agent of pollination. Even animals are also the agents. The animals include insects like honeybees, which visit the flower to suck the nectar from it. Similarly, other insects get attracted by the scent, the color of the flower. It can be man also, it can be bat also, and many more animals like snails, slugs. They can also bring about pollination. Okay, so they are called the agents of pollination. Now next we will study. First we studied what is pollination. Then what are the agents of pollination? Next, the types of pollination. How many types of pollination are there? There are 2 types of pollination. Now why pollination is required? If this question is asked, what is the answer? Pollination is a prerequisite. Prerequisite means it is important for the process of fertilization to bring about formation of seeds and fruits. Okay, that's why it is important. Now types of pollination. I'll just draw a diagram here like this. You can see a chart. Pollination types. This one shows the classification chart of types of pollination. There are 2 types of pollination broadly. What are they? Number 1, it is called self-pollination. And number 2, it is called cross-pollination. We'll learn the definition of both of them along with the examples. Now what is self-pollination? Self-pollination is transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or different flower one on the same plant. Only one plant is there. So here self-pollination occurs in one flower or 2 flowers of the same plant. Plant is same, one plant is only there. Okay, this is the difference. But here in the cross pollination, it occurs between two flowers present on two different plants. This is the main difference that you have to learn. On two different plants, both the flowers are present. Now, self-pollination, definition of self-pollination is transfer of pollen grains, from the anther to the stigma of the same flower. Of the same species born on the same plant. It can be between two flowers also, like this one. One example I am showing. This is a flower. Suppose this is the plant, this is the flower. Here the stamens are present, here the stigma is present. If transfer occurs within this flower only, that is self-pollination. But if any flower is present here in the same plant and the stigma is present here, and if it is transferred from this flower to the next flower, two different flowers are there, but plant is same, this is also called self-pollination. But in cross-pollination, what happens is, if this is another flower and this is the stigma, if the anthers are transferred from this flower to the stigma of another flower, one on a different plant, two different plants are there, that pollination is called cross-pollination. And this one is called self-pollination. Understood now? So if only one plant is there, such a pollination is called self-pollination. If two plants are there, that is called cross-pollination. So next we have to study the definition of. Now where does self-pollination occurs? Self-pollination occurs in plants which are having bisexual flowers, like China rose flower is bisexual. It is found in maize plant also, because maize plant has both male and female flowers. So now next we have to study the cross-pollination. Definition of cross-pollination is transfer of pollens, transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower, born on one plant to the stigma of a flower present on other plant. Means two different plants are there. We can make it our own definition and write, if we understand the meaning, that cross-pollination means two different plants are there, and within these two plants the transfer of pollen grain occurs from one flower to the other. So such type of pollination is known as cross-pollination. Now next we have the agents of pollination. Already I said. Now what are the different types of pollination? We studied self and cross-pollination. So we will study some of the characteristics of pollination by wind, pollination by water, and pollination by animals. Okay? So now next one is pollination by wind. They are called anemophilous. Anemophilous means wind. Anemo means wind. So flowers which are pollinated by wind are called anemophilous flowers. So next one is pollination by wind. Pollination by wind. What is wind? It is one of the agent of pollination. Like water is also agent of pollination. You may have seen that a maize plant is there. In a maize plant, the male flowers are present at the tip. These are called tassel, T-A-S-S-E-L. And the female flowers are present in the form of cobs, like these are the leaves, and the cobs are there, the one which we eat. The silky hairs are there, they are the styles. So from the male flower, the stamens bearing the pollens are transferred to the cob, that is to the female style, which is hanging outside, the one which we eat, isn't it? That outer part, the silky hair-like structures, see there, no? That silky hair-like structures, they actually represents the female part of the flower, which is known as style. Okay, they represent the style of the maize plant, that is called cob, C-O-B. And this one is the male part of the flower, which is called tassel. So in the maize plant, both the male and the female parts are present. Such plant that contains both male and female parts is called monoecious plants. If male and female flowers are present on two different plants, it is called dioecious plant. Now here, pollination by wind, what are the characteristics? In wind pollinated flowers, the pollens are light in weight. Pollens are produced in large quantity because in large quantities most of the pollens are wasted when they are carried by the wind. It's not necessary that the pollens will land on the specific flower. They may land anywhere, and that will cause wastage of pollen grains. And since they are carried by the wind, they are light in weight. So pollens are light in weight. Because they are to be carried by the wind, they are not colorful, they may not be scented, they may not be attractive. The pollens are produced in large quantity. Pollens are light in weight, means they have very less weight. They may have feathery or some hair-like structures present on them that can help them to be carried away by the wind. An example I said, in the maize plant, pollination by wind occurs. The flowers are not showy. Already I said this one. Flowers are not showy, colorful, scented, because wind has nothing to do with the color. Wind has nothing to do with their attraction, nothing to do with their scent, okay, nothing to do with their nectar. Wind is not going to take the nectar and all. So these are some of the characteristics of the flowers pollinated by wind. Now next one is pollination by water. Pollination by water. Because water is the medium or the agent of pollination, so it is found in aquatic plants. And in this case also, example you can say Vallisneria, large number of pollen grains are produced in large quantity. Why? Because along with the water current, the pollen grains will move along with the water and they will reach up to the stigma of the flower. And because they are found in the water, so what are the characteristics? I am not writing, I am just saying it. Pollens are produced in large quantity. The same characteristics is here also. And pollens, because they are present in water, they have a protective. They means here it is used for pollens. So pollens have a protective covering, waxy covering. It is waxy covering made up of wax, so that they are not damaged by water. Because they are living in water, the pollens are also released in water, so that's why they have a protective covering which is made up of wax, which it is called waxy layer. An example you can say Vallisneria plant and other aquatic plants in which pollination is done by water. Okay. Now next one we have to study is pollination by animals. But before that, one question is there in your book. What is that question? The question is, why wind pollinated and water pollinated flowers produce large quantity of pollen grains? And the answer is, wind and water pollinated flowers produce large quantity of pollen grains because the pollens may not always fall on the flower. Most of them are wasted. That's why they are produced in large quantity. So now next topic I said is pollination by animals. This is the third one. Already two we have done. Pollination by animals means here the agent is animals like bats, insects. They are the one which carry the pollen grains from one flower to the other. Particularly insects are very much helpful in bringing about pollination, like honeybees. They keep on visiting the flowers in search of nectar, and when they visit the flower, the pollens stick to their body, because pollens are sticky in nature. So they stick to the body of the insects, and when the same insect visit another flower to get the nectar, they rub their legs or fan their wings, which release in the deposition of pollens. The pollens are deposited on the stigma, bringing about pollination. So what are some of the characteristics of pollination by animals? The flowers are brightly colored because they have to attract the insects and other animals. Large, showy, attractive, many more points. They have nectar. They produce nectar. Nectar means a sweet liquid which is produced by the flowers, so that the insects can come and get this nectar as their food, like honeybees collect the nectar to make honey. So flowers are brightly colored, large, showy, they have nectar, and the pollens are sticky in nature. Why sticky? Because they have to stick on the surface of the body of insects, so that they can be transferred from one flower to the other. And the stigma is broad or it is flat. Stigma is also sticky, so that it can receive the pollen grains. Generally, the stigmas are the sites where pollen grains will fall, and that will result in the process of pollination. Now next we have to study is which flower. The pollination in sunflower and hibiscus. Two examples is given: sunflower and hibiscus. Hibiscus means that China rose, or Rosa sinensis it is called. These two flowers, pollination is done by animals, that is by the insects. Similarly, in the largest flower called Rafflesia, pollination is done by elephants, that is called elephophily. Okay, so now next we have to study is fertilization. But before that, next topic is fertilization. I'll just rub it. Along with the diagram, you will try to understand what is fertilization. This is the last topic. After that, we will continue in the next class. I'll give you the homework also. What is fertilization? First, the definition of fertilization: fusion of male gamete with the female gamete is called fertilization. Fusion means mixing of male gamete. Here the male gamete in the plants is pollens that produces the male gamete. So fusion of male gamete with the female gamete. The female gamete is called egg, is called fertilization. Okay, now look at the diagram, how fertilization is done, and then I will explain side by side. This is stigma of the flower. This is a long style. I am drawing the pistil, that is female part of the flower. Long style is there, and the swollen ovary is there. Okay. Now when the pollens are deposited, these are the pollens. Suppose these pollens are deposited by the insect, by wind or water. Now these pollens will germinate, and they will start forming a pollen tube. This pollen tube will keep on growing throughout the length of the style. This tube will increase in length, and inside the ovary we have the ovule. The ovule is present. Okay. This is called micropyle. In higher classes you will study. So this tube will come, it will enter inside the ovary part of the flower, and finally it will join, or it will enter inside the ovule. Inside the ovule we have the female gamete, which consists of, now I will try to change this diagram. It consists of an embryo sac. Here the egg cell is present, here synergids is there, here polar nuclei is present, here antipodal cells are there. So egg cell is present here. Now this pollen tube carry the male gametes and transfer them inside the embryo sac. When the egg and the male gamete fuses, this results in the process of fertilization. So what are the steps of fertilization? First, the pollens are deposited on the stigma. These pollens will germinate, and it will form a long pollen tube which enters or passes through the style and enters inside the ovule. Inside the ovule, we have the female gamete called the egg, and the pollen tube carry the male gamete. So when the male gamete fuse with the female gamete, that is the egg cell, it results in the process of fertilization. And after fertilization, the ovary part, this one, the ovary changes into fruit, and the ovule which is present, it changes into seed. So ovule develops into seed and ovary develops into fruit after fertilization. Okay. So today up to here only. Now what are the steps of fertilization? Already I have said, and along with the diagram I have explained. Now what are the homework you have to do? You have to watch the video, and after watching it, in the comment section you write your name so that I can come to know how many of you have seen the video clearly and understood. If any doubt is there, you can ask in my number. But what is the this one homework that you have to do? I'll give you one question, fill in the blanks with the choice there in the book. Those who have the book, they can do it. Those who do not have the book till now, so I'll take a photo and give it to you. You have to fill it up and write in your copy. Okay? Thank you.